Hello everyone, my name is Voyadex, welcome back to another Roblox product review video. Today just behind me is the Embraer E195 by Modelix, just released yesterday on the 10th of December. Thankfully the owner has allowed me to use his aircraft to do this review, but before we start this I have got a massive announcement to say. So yes guys, the AVI Awards, Roblox Aviation Awards 2024 is here, and Icelandair, the airline that I own, has been nominated for Best Airline Under 3000, so all you need to do is go down to Best Airline Under 3000 and then click on Icelandair. It'll automatically submit your vote, so you don't need to press submit or anything. It's automatically saved and your vote will be counted for. Thank you for that announcement, Voyadex, and yes guys, you only have until the 12th of December to vote, so make sure to vote for Icelandair. But anyways, on to the product review. Let's move on to the features listed on their Discord. So moving on to their features, which is listed here on their Discord, which I will leave in the description down below, including their hubs where you can purchase the aircraft. So it does say here at the top it is currently the only E1 variant, but however the E2 variant is coming out soon, so if you purchase this now you will get a free upgrade on the E2 upgrade with no extra costs included, which is very nice of them. So moving on to the features, they do have the Moo lighting, a fully animated doors, engines, flaps, gears, spoilers and cargo doors, and much more. A full interior, functioning lights, animated durable blinds in beta, built-in ground power unit which is the GPU, fully functional first officer kit, a custom camera system, Modelix modified Skytech plane kit, chokes and engine covers included, and a built-in pushback tug, and much more. So you can purchase now for £6.99 in UK sterling pounds, which is basically the UK currency, or you can purchase it in 899 Robux on their hub, which I will leave in the link description down below. So let's move on to the aircraft. And we are back with the aircraft now. Looking around the aircraft, I'm just looking at it from this point of view. Now the aircraft looks really cool and awesome. Now I got to personally say that the Embraer E195 and the E175 are actually one of my most favourite aircrafts in real life. So I got to say that they've done a really good job of this, and I'm going to say this, that this is probably the most detailed Embraer aircraft I've seen on Roblox so far. Like you can see like the little lines, the bolts and stuff like that, which is actually really cool. So I move on to the gears here. You can also see like they got like little springs here, they got little details and stuff like that. So that's actually really cool, and the engines look really nice. But anyway, we're going to move on to the ground crew features for you guys with airlines. I am going to say this again, it's got really good detail and the aircraft looks super realistic, but however we're going to move on to the ground crew features that were listed on their Discord with the chokes and engines, including the cargo doors. So I do believe the chokes, if I go near them, they don't have the hold down E button like AIRLINES or Serotech have, you can only click on them, but with this they only vanish on one side and they just don't reappear. So I think the aircraft may still be in beta, so when they're still working on this, but like I said, the aircraft is still really super cool and stuff like that, so I'm not going to complain too much if the chokes or the engine covers don't reappear, but clicking on them just vanishing like that looks really cool, I'm not going to lie. So we move to the engine covers. I think if I just click on them they just disappear like that, but you guys can hear me clicking my mouse that I can't seem to reappear it or hold down E to reappear it on the engine or the chokes. Which is a bit of a sad thing really, but at the end of the day I got to say this aircraft is really cool and it's actually probably one of the best Embraers I've seen on Roblox overall. So moving on to the cargo doors, I do believe they do open up, so we just hold down E here, it does open up. The animation doesn't work with the handle, which is a bit of a shame because I usually see like the animations on the cargo doors, but however I'm not going to speak too much about that because I'm going to look inside the cargo hold and it's got a lot of space with the details. Well, the textures look really nice, so anybody that owns an airline, your ground crew have got a lovely sight to see when they're putting the baggage in. Like look at that, that's got a lot of space. And I do believe there's another cargo door just at the back of the aircraft here. If I just hold down E again, it should just open up very smoothly. And let's have a little look inside, and wow, that's got a lot of space. So everyone that owns an airline, your ground crew are going to have a really nice flight because the space in here is just enormous. Like you've got a lot of space and you got a lot of cargo and bags to put in there. That looks really nice. So that's really it with the ground crew features. So anyway, we're going to move on to the inside, so let's take a look. So moving on into the interior of the aircraft, I can see straight away that they put a lot of good detail into this. So you got all the cabin crew trolleys, the food heaters, you even got the tea and coffee kettles here, every storage like cups and napkins and everything, they're all here. So you guys doing cabin crew for your airlines, you've got a good role play set out here for you. We've even got the cabin crew seat, which I can't really sit on, unfortunately, which I can also understand because it may be group ID'd and ranked, which you guys will need to edit in your Roblox Studios when purchasing the aircraft. They put some good detail in the cockpit door here. Now I believe this may be a lavatory, but the aircraft doesn't come with a lavatory just yet. But however, I understand that most aircrafts on Roblox don't come with a lavatory, so I'm not going to lose any points on that just because they don't add a lavatory. And we have got the cabin controls here, which is really nice, but however I'm not going to start that just yet until I finish the full interior. Now we have got the doors here, they do open up and animate, but sadly when I was checking this, the handles do not move, but however the animation itself is really smooth. So moving into the interior of the aircraft even more, so we've got the overhead bins, we've got the window shades as well, and we even got these lines. Now if you are starting an airline on Roblox, or basically a beginner, or even currently owning an airline and looking to purchase a new aircraft, which is this Embraer you find on Roblox, so these lines here do help you out on where to put the seats directly, so it's not in the way or in the centre of the aircraft. You know, where people are walking down, you don't want them glitching out, or your cabin crew messing up their role plays just because they end up sitting in the seats. You know, you have got the option there on where to put the seats. Now the question is, does the overhead bins open? Yes or no? I don't think they do. They may be in the cabin controls, which we will check out in just a moment or so. So we've got the small details of like the little lights and air conditioning. So I do believe, or not believe, that there will be like a seatbelt sign or no smoking sign on the top here, which we will check out shortly. So with the window shades, I do believe that if I just drag it down, they do move up and down, but however, you can move it to where you want it to be, which is really cool, and I've never seen this in the Rotation before. Now this is actually a really cool feature, and I've got to give them 10 out of 10 for this, because that is a really cool feature. I got to say, like the whole aircraft itself is really cool. I'm not saying this because it's one of my most favourite aircrafts on Roblox, but I got to say that this is a really nice aircraft. So moving to the back of the aircraft, it's got the same little features like the cabin crew trolleys, the food storages and heaters, 2 cabin crew seats here, and also another lavatory which you guys can probably add yourselves in with the asset packs you can find on Roblox, and also the doors do open and close on both sides. So anyway, moving to the cabin controls. So moving on to the cabin controls, if I just hold down F here, you guys can edit this in your Roblox Studios when purchasing the aircraft, so your group and also the ranking of your staff can only use the cabin controls during flights. So here we've got the lovely logo of the E195. It does have the options to have the windows blinds up or down, so if I press the down button, they all seem to just slowly come down, but I think you have to constantly click on that, which is a bit of a pain. I was just expecting it to be like a little techie one where it would just go up and down straight away, but I can sort of understand why. And then also you can lock them as well once you're taking off or landing, because they do ask you on an aircraft to make sure the window blinds are up. But anyway, moving on to the lighting, if I can just press on here, the mood lighting, you have got the option here to change the lighting, which actually looks really nice. So even if I just seem to move it a little bit, it does appear just a little. And I can also increase and also decrease the brightness of the aircraft. So if I just change it to blue, one of my favourite colours, and just increase it, it does change the... Wow, the mood lighting does actually brighten up, which actually looks really cool, and if I decrease it, the brightness does go all the way down. But you can change it to however you want, from like boarding or disembarking or just cruising. You have got the option there, and the mood lighting is actually really nice. Like, this aircraft looks really comforting to be on when you have this mood lighting on. It's actually really cool. But anyway, we're going to move on to the cockpit. Now, moving into the cockpit, this is actually very well detailed. I got to give them this. This is actually really cool. You can see all like the nozzles, the switches, you can see it all there. This is actually really cool. They even got like a little shelf here of books, probably like manuals on like the captain, the first officer, or the checklist. Like, this is actually a really nice cockpit, and I've got to say this is probably my most far favourite cockpit I've seen in the Rotation. Now I also want to point out as well, the windows, they've even got like the correct windows here on the Embraers. If you look at the real life pictures of the Embraer E195, they do have this little window shade, like little like colour in here in the centre. So I've got to say, I've got to give them full credit for that. That is really cool. But however, we do have the captain seat and the first officer seat, so however, I will move into the first officer seat to check it out. And it does make a lovely little tune there. Thanks for bursting my eardrums. Now I got to say, this is the smallest first officer controls I've ever seen. Like, this is actually really small, and the good thing about this as well, I can move it around so I can put it anywhere I want. So shout out to them, that's actually a really nice feature. But however, we're going to move on to the hydraulics first. So if I move on to here, so first off we've got the others, the flaps, spoilers, and also the gears. So if I click on the wipers, they only do go in one pace, so no like option to go slow or fast, it only goes in one pace, which is pretty cool. Now the GPU, which was mentioned in their features list, does appear on the right hand side of the aircraft. So if you guys are looking to start an airline or still making your own airline, you don't worry about buying a power unit. The aircraft does come with a GPU, so you don't have to stress about spending any money. So if I turn on the reverse thrust here, once the aircraft has landed at the destination, the reverse thrust does activate and the engine does pop out just like that, very smoothly, which is really nice. So moving on to the flaps, I do believe they do go up and down this. So if I press on the arrows, they do go up and down. So if I just press on these, they do go down pretty quick, which is actually really cool. You can also see like the little bolts here on the flaps as well, which looks really nice. And if I put them all the way down, it has got a really nice feature and a really cool animation to them, and they actually are really smooth. It's not very jumpy like in most aircrafts you see nowadays in aviation. And with the spoilers, you can press on the arrows again, they do go up once the aircraft has landed, which looks really cool from any angle, which we can see, and then just pressing them down will just appear like that. At this moment in time, I have anchored the aircraft, so the gears will basically, the aircraft will just float. So if I click on the gears do go up very slowly and they do come down very slowly. But however, if I do unanchor the aircraft does basically fall down to its original stand. Which, however, if you do panic, don't worry, the gears do help you out to put the aircraft back in the upright position, so don't stress too much if any of your flight deck does accidentally press the incorrect button. Now, moving on to the lights here, I do apologise, I can't change the time of day because this is the owner's game, which I will not be able to link in the description down below for you guys to test the aircraft out yourselves. So just like I said, this is the owner's game, I haven't got any admin to change the time of day or anything, so I do apologise if you struggle to see the lights. However, I will check them out and have a look around. So if I press on this is the navigation, which is the red and the green lights that do illuminate on your wings. So if I press on this, I'm assuming they do illuminate because you can see a little green dot here, which they do work, and like I said, assuming it's just the time of day that needs changing for them to work properly. The beacon on top and the bottom of the aircraft do blinker, which has got a really cool feature, and there's actually a good time duration between each blink. So if we move on to the strobe, it has got the same feature as well, the time duration between each one. They do blinker here on the sides of the wings, which looks really cool. So moving on to the taxi light now, I do believe the light bulbs on the landing lights and also the taxi light here do illuminate, so we'll check them out now. So we'll press on the taxi light. It does illuminate, which looks really cool, and there's actually a good distance between the front gear and also when the light ends. And also you can see like little particles, you can see a little bit here, which looks really cool. So moving on to the landing lights, they do illuminate on the bulbs, which looks really cool to be fair. It's just a shame that I can't change the time of day for you guys to have a proper look at the dynamic lighting. And the logo, which is the back of the aircraft on the wings at the back here, showing off your good logo. So if I just zoom out a little bit here, just maybe this angle will probably do the best. So I press on logo, they do illuminate here, showing off your awesome logo. So moving on to the electrical side of things. We have got the batteries and also the APU and also the first and also second engine. So the batteries do make a noise, so I do apologise to anyone that's wearing headphones. They do make a really loud noise, so I will click them on right now. So warning for headphone users here. They make a really nice sound, and I think it only goes up to like a certain number, so 27.8. And therefore you can now switch on the APU, which sadly doesn't make any noise, but like I said, when you purchase the aircraft it probably does come with a sound pack. It's either that or they are still working on the sound. So if I press on the engine 1 and 2, they do rotate and the blades do work, which looks really cool. And like I said, there isn't any sound yet, so I'm assuming the sound pack does come with the purchase of the aircraft, or they are still working on the sound, which is really cool to see the engines move. And they've actually got a really cool feature, like the blades look really nice. But anyway, I'm going to move on to the captain seat and give this baby a test fly. So I did mention in the Discord about the camera systems. Basically, if I sit in the captain seat, I do have the options of different cameras point of view. So if I press on the number 2 on my keyboard, I do move into the cockpit, which is really nice. And also the joystick does have an animation. It does move from side to side, which is really cool. And I get a nice, good view of the cockpit, which is really cool. So I press on number 3, I get the underbelly of the aircraft, so I can see all the gears here. And pressing number 4, I get to view the left hand side wing, and then number 5, which they don't have, or number 6 with the tail, and then I think that's about it. So I'm assuming they are still trying to add the cameras in. Oh, there we go, number 5, we've got the other side of the camera here, and I think that's really about it. So they got a lot of cameras here, and just not a shame on the right hand side, only on the left hand side, but I'm assuming, like I said, they are still working on the cameras. So anyway, let's move on to the captain controls. So moving into the captain seat, we have got the SkyTech, which they have modified the captain controls. So however, we've got the cruise and also the anchor option, so you can anchor the aircraft when you're boarding your passengers or parking up. And also they've got the cruise option, so your flight attendants and passengers can walk around the aircraft during cruise. So we've got the speed, we've got the throttle here, we've got the engines on and off. So if I press E, it will basically turn on the aircraft and you're able to have full control. So if I press on the controls here, it does give me a good option here to help you out, guys, if you are struggling to understand the aircraft. So however, if you press E, the engines do turn on and off, and C for getting control of the aircraft and uncontrol the aircraft. So however, I want to check out the pushback toggle, which I did mention their feature list. So if I press the K on my keyboard, it should just appear, and it does appear. Wow, that's actually pretty cool, to be fair. And yeah, again guys, if you're starting your airline or you're on a budget, you're saving yourself money, the pushback toggle is already there and the aircraft does push back. So if I press the people in here, the aircraft does push back automatically. You can see that I'm not pressing W or S. It is automatically pushing back, which is a really cool feature, which is really nice. So I'll turn off the pushback here and then get rid of the pushback tug. So you got W for throttle up, which I did mention, and S for throttle down, and also you got brakes when you're landing the aircraft or stopping the aircraft while taxiing. Now, however, I'm going to give this a little test spin and then I'll give my final review. And that's it, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that little test flight. I think there's a bit of an issue with the cruise button. I think when you press cruise, the throttle just appears, like the whole speed of the aircraft just disappears and then it glitches out just a little bit. But like I said, they're still working on the aircraft, so I'm not going to give them any lost points on that. But overall, the aircraft, I gotta say, is actually really cool. The taking off and also the landing was actually really smooth. And it had like a really nice detail on the wing lips, like the little like little lines, I think they're called. And also they do come with contrails, and also when you land, it does make that little steam where the gears do land on the runway. But however, I'm going to give this rating aircraft an 8.5 out of 10. And I got to say, this aircraft is actually really nice. I would actually highly recommend buying this if you are on a budget or starting your own airline on Roblox. This is probably the next best thing on Roblox because this aircraft is super realistic and it is very well detailed and modernised. So like again guys, I will link the description down, everything down below so you guys can buy the aircraft yourselves. I can't give the test gaming out because there isn't a test game out because the owner thankfully gave me the test game privately to check it out and give this awesome review. But anyway guys, make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.